Hello to all my beautiful viewers out there. I hope you had a wonderful weekend. Unfortunately, that pleasure is no more for me. I am now on Monday. I've unfortunately got to start the week, but that's okay. We have to do what we always do on a Monday, which is talk about new sneaker news. New sneaker news. What is the latest sneaker news that we have to talk about today? Well, we are getting our first Air Jordan 1 Retro High OG release of 2020. And that release is the Air Jordan 1 Black Satin colorway. I mean, come on guys. Are we surprised that this is happening this early in the year? I'm not. Jordan Brand releasing Jordan 1 Retro High OGs this early on in the year, that didn't come as a surprise. I knew it was going to happen. I was honestly expecting it a little bit later in January, like, January almost tipping over to February, but it turns out Jordan Brand doesn't want to start off the year that late, I suppose. They want to release Air Jordan 1 High OGs as soon as possible. And that's okay. That's okay if they're good colorways. But that's what today's video is going to be about. It's going to be about us looking at the release details, just covering the colorway in general of the first OG high release of 2020, which, as I said, is the Black Satin colorway. Now this one, judging by what I'm seeing on Instagram as I'm scrolling through the discovery feed, it kind of looks like it's going a bit under the radar. It looks like people are forgetting or not realizing it's coming out. I think it deserves some love. I think every Jordan 1 High OG deserves a little bit of love because I'm a big fanboy of the Air Jordan 1. I think all of them deserve a little bit of love. So we should talk about it today. Now, as always, come on, it wouldn't be a sneaker talk video if I didn't have an article to back up what I'm saying. We are going to be heading over to the Hypebeast article that I have for this Air Jordan 1 release. So without further ado, let's head over to the Hypebeast article to talk about the upcoming release of the Air Jordan 1 High OG Black Satin colorway. And here we are, guys. This is the Black Satin colorway. As you can see, it is living up to the name. It is definitely living up to the name, with it being primarily black with little bits of red detailing. But we'll dive into the colorway after we, cover all the release details and read the article and see what's going on. And then I'll give you my thoughts and opinions on the colorway and everything like that. We'll talk about that a little bit later. So let's start off with the article and see what's going on. So, Air Jordan 1 Retro High OG shimmers in black satin. The first Air Jordan 1 Retro High OG of 2020, as I've said multiple times in the video already. So, after a wildly successful 2019, Jordan Brand's Air Jordan 1 High Retro OG is set to kick 2020 off with a new black satin makeup. Now, just quite quickly, I did also mention that they could have had a very successful Air Jordan 1 low OG year in 2019. Unfortunately, I think Jordan Brand kind of missed the mark on that. I did a whole video about that. If you're interested in seeing why I thought the Jordan 1 lows were quite disappointing in 2019, I've got a whole video for you. I've covered it in that video. But I think they could have also done very well with the Jordan 1 lows. It was just a bad decision on Jordan Brand's part by not making those as successful as they could have been. But that, again, that's a totally different other video. They are correct in saying that the Jordan 1 High OGs were very successful in 2019 because, we got massive collaborations, massive colorways coming out in 2019. We got Travis Scott's Jordan 1 Highs in that year. Like, a lot came out in that year, and it was just a very big year for that. It's always a very big year, actually, for the Air Jordan 1 High OGs. I haven't found a year yet where they're not wildly successful. And hopefully 2020 isn't a stop to that. Hopefully they keep getting really, really good. So, offering a crisp look, the black satin plays with heritage Air Jordan 1 styles, but differentiates itself in construction and embellishment. Dressed almost entirely in black, the upper combines black satin quarter panels, toe boxes, and collars with black leather mudguards, eye stays, collar flaps, and heel counters. Adjacent mixes of satin and leather was seen in 2018's popular satin shattered backboards, and 2019's satin black toe. But it is much more accessible here due to the general release designation bestowed upon the black satin. So yes, as the article mentions, generally whenever we get an Air Jordan 1 with satin detailing on it, it is generally quite exclusive. As they mentioned here with the satin shattered blackboards and the satin black toes, they were very exclusive, very hard to get. The black toes were actually a women's release, so they were even harder for especially big-footed guys like me. I wasn't able to cop the black toes in Satin. I actually have a 2013 pair of black toes already, so I wasn't really looking to cop them, but they didn't do the Satin black toes in a men's US 16 or 17, so I'm not hugely, stressed out by that I missed out, because I knew it wasn't going to come out in my size anyway. But the article is correct in saying that the satin material on Air Jordan 1s is usually held to the more exclusive Jordan 1s, and to some people this may be a breath of fresh air, having an Air Jordan 1 with satin materials on it that won't be super exclusive. This will be quite accessible. This does look to be a very general release Jordan 1, but we'll keep going in. So, apart from the mix of materials, the design also displays some sporty gym red accents that are most noticeable on the laces, which pop boldly off the stark black background, but are also present on the debossed leather Nike Air tongue badge on the embroidered leather ball and wings logo present on the collar, which is that one there, and obviously that there. Now, if you don't know what that means to do with the tongue, when it said more specifically, where is it? The debossed leather Nike Air tongue badge. If you've never experienced that, a good example is these. I think it's A New Star Is Born. I think that was the name of the colorway. There are so many colorways of the Air Jordan 1, you just forget them sometimes, I think this is, A New Star Is Born. This had the leather Nike Air tongue up here. It's very different from the traditional nylon tongue up here. It feels totally different, it looks totally different, it gives the shoe a different look entirely, I would say. So just be prepared for that. This Nike Air logo up here is not the traditional nylon, it's this leather branding, and it does pop out a little bit. It obviously talked about that the wings logo is, I think they used, no, they didn't use debossed. Oh no, you could argue they did. It does pop out with this release. Traditionally, the Air Jordan 1 wings logo is embossed. It's pushed inwards. This, however, on this release, it has now been pushed outwards. It almost looks like it's a sewn on patch. Very different from your traditional Air Jordan 1 release, where instead of being pressed in, it has now been pressed out. It does make it stand out a lot, especially with the use of red for the wings logo. Having it red on all this black definitely make it pops. It's a nice use of color. It's a very safe use of color as well, but we'll dive into that a little bit later as well. Okay, down below, a trim white midsole and black outsole finalizes the look. So there you go, you can see the black outsole on the bottom with a white midsole just to top off the look finally. So, the Air Jordan 1 High OG Black Satin releases on January 18th at retailers like BSTN and is priced at $160 USD. Now, I haven't actually had a look into this, but I bet you this is getting released on Foot Locker and Eastbay. I'm gonna assume Nike sneakers, but don't quote me on that. But this looks like a very general release, so I'm gonna assume all those stores are gonna be stocking them. It would be worth just going to the release calendar of all those stores and seeing if they have that scheduled for a release. But I can safely assume that we're gonna get it on Foot Locker, we're gonna get it on Eastbay. I can just assume that. Like, I can definitely see that happening. Of course, the article doesn't list that. I would have to look into that. But because this is such a general release, I can imagine that that is the case. Let's dive into what the article says finally, and then we'll talk about the colorway itself. In February, Michael Jordan's first ever signature shoe will enter its next chapter with a new Air Jordan 1 85 High style, which is set to debut in a new beginnings pack alongside the Airship and crispy Varsity Red style. Now, I will recover the new beginnings pack, and I will also talk about the Varsity Red style. Now, why did they mention that in this article? Well, as it said, it's a new chapter for Jordan Brand. So what it looks like is happening in 2020 is they're finishing off the Retro High OG series, or at least slowing it down a little bit on the Retro High OG releases. Now, they've been doing the Retro High OG releases for ages, but they've been really pumping them out ever since about 2015. And it looks like in 2020, they're slowing that down a little bit to make way for, as they said, a new chapter of these Air Jordan 1 high, 85 high styles. Now, again, I should probably do another video about it, but what the new chapter of the Air Jordan 1 is it's basically an Air Jordan 1 high OG, but it's cut the exact same way, the exact same shape as the 1985 pairs were, because you can easily look at an original pair of 1985 Air Jordan 1s, compare it to a retro high OG, and the shape and the overall look is completely different. It might not look at it from a distance, but as soon as you start looking at the details, they are very, very different shoes. So in 2020, Jordan Brand is taking this new chapter by releasing Air Jordan 1s in this 85 high style to replicate or look exactly the same as the 1985 pairs. That is the new chapter for Jordan Brand. I don't know if that means that they're going to stop releasing retro high OGs. I can't see that happening. I just think that they're going to slow down on the retro high OGs and maybe focus more on the Air Jordan 1 85 style Jordan 1s. I don't know. It's hard to make that, call this early in 2020. It is only January. If, maybe halfway through the year, I'd be willing to, more comfortably make that call. But it looks like 2020 onwards, they're more focused on this new chapter, which is making Air Jordan 1s like they were back in 1985. But again, we're just going to have to see. Now, this one is not part of that pack. You can tell because it's still a retro high OG. So it's still essentially this cut and shape like the Air Jordan 1 breads. It may slightly differ from the breads, but it's around that same idea, that it's close to the originals, but it's not exactly the same as the originals, which is what the new chapter is focusing on, being exactly the same as the originals. Now, what do I think of the colorway? What do I think of this black satin colorway? Well, I've discussed it on the channel before. If you haven't seen those videos before about me discussing retro high releases, just subscribe to the channel and go watch a couple of them. But what I've said is that Jordan Brand likes to do a lot of safe releases when it comes to the retro high OGs, especially, and I would say that this release is a very safe release. They generally like to do the color palette of white, black, and red. I can understand why. It's inspired by the Bulls. It's inspired by, some of the most OG colorways of the Air Jordan 1, like the Breads and the Chicagos. It's not very adventurous, which I kind of would like Jordan Brand to become in the 2020s. I'd like them to try bold new colors, try new color options, because honestly, it's, for me anyway, it's getting kind of dull seeing just, a black and red and white release after black, red and white release after another black, white and red release. It's kind of just getting a bit too much. I kind of would just like some color variation, something a little bit different. What I would like ideally is just like, just a little bit of experimentation. When Jordan Brand, I can't remember the date, did those Air Jordan 1s in like rust pink, like these really light blues. Basically, there's like really Miami styled colorways. That was a really cool direction. I really, really like that. I like that Jordan Brand was willing to go a little bit crazy and a little bit out of their comfort zone to do crazy colored Jordan 1s, because those were really appealing to me, having these like different colored Jordan 1s instead of this safe color option, which is, black, white, and red. It is very safe. As I've been saying, I want Jordan Brand to come out of their comfort zone and do something a little bit different. And maybe 2020 is that step, because we have seen, leaks, rumors that we're getting like Court Purple 2.0s, more Pine Greens. It does look like they are getting out of their comfort zone a little bit, but in saying that, this isn't good evidence to show that, like this is a very safe release. It'd be a very easy Air Jordan 1 to wear. It's primarily black. I bet you the extra laces, because if you didn't know, I think I would go on record. I don't own every single retro high OG, but I would say every single retro high OG comes with extra laces. I have yet to see a retro high OG that has not come with extra laces. So I guarantee that this is going to come with extra laces. I don't know if it's going to get factory laced with red laces, but I bet you'll get like black laces with it, white laces with it. It's pretty traditional. At this point, it's pretty traditional for Air Jordan 1s to get that kind of lace scheme. So if you're not a fan of the red laces, I bet you there will be other lace colors that you could choose from. All round though, It's a very safe release. I do like the idea that they're experimenting with different materials on general release Air Jordan 1s. You know, they're putting some satin in it. As discussed, the satin is in the toe box, the side panels here, and I think it was on the cuff, I want to say. Yeah, you can tell. I don't know if the image is high enough. We'll click on the image just so we can get a bigger... Oh my god, it's so dark. Okay, we'll click on the image just so we can get a better look at it. You can tell here that this material here is leather. That is satin. It's got a different grain to it. Looks like that's satin there as well. That looks satin, and it looks like the toe box is satin. So there you go. You got 3 different areas of the shoe that come in satin detailing. You got the cuff at the back, you got the side panel here, and you got the toe box. Now, the rest of it seems to be leather. Leather here, leather there, leather at the back, leather swoosh. So, honestly, I think this is actually a really good use of materials. I think Jordan Brand has done well choosing these outer regions to be used, leather to be used on those outer regions, and to have satin on these other areas here. I think satin on the toe box will be incredibly comfy. I can just imagine feeling that. I think that's a smart decision. It'll also... I don't know how satin creases, but it might actually complement the sneaker with having a satin toe box, because it may not crease as predominantly or as obviously as leather does. As you can see with my my breads here, it can crease in really whack ways. So if you want a Jordan 1 that doesn't look like it'll crease very quickly, maybe this will be the best option for you. Having the logos stick out more on this release is an interesting choice. I'm not against it, it's just not what I'm used to. Again though, because they've chosen to do red detailing on both of these logos that pop out more, I think that's smart. I think it brings attention to both the logos, and obviously having it all black and having the logos in red will definitely brings attention to it. The red laces though, I don't know if they're for me. They are very bright, and it doesn't look like it matches the detailing. I talked about that in a previous Air Jordan 1 video as well. The laces generally don't match the detailing on Air Jordan 1s, and when you see that in person, to me anyway, that looks a little bit weird. So I would switch the laces up. I would probably go with maybe black laces to make it all black, or maybe I'd feel a little bit more adventurous, and if they have white laces, I might consider going with the white laces, honestly. But all round, it's not a horrible colorway. It's a safe colorway. So we'll sum it up. It's a safe colorway. You could wear it with basically anything. It doesn't, require you to, become very adventurous in outfits. You could wear this with a lot of outfits. The use of material seems really good. It is satin on the side panels here, satin on the toe box, and satin on the heel. Could be very, very comfy. The use of leather, it looks like a pretty good leather quality. Again, I wouldn't know, I don't have it in hand, but just from the images, you can generally get a pretty good idea. From the images, it looks like a pretty good leather quality. And that's all we really got to say. Safe colorway, easy to wear, looks like good quality. Basically everything you'd want from an Air Jordan 1 high retro OG release. Yeah, that's that's it all summed up. So, to sum up the release details as well, it is coming out January 18th, 2020. Wow, that's really weird to say. So used to saying 2019. Estimated 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time drop time. Not confirmed, but estimated. The price is the regular 160 USD. But that will change. I just need to make a quick note. With this new chapter that Jordan Brand is taking with these 85 high styles, this looks like an increase in the retail price as well. This new chapter, they look like they're charging 200 USD now for these new Air Jordan 1 85 high styles. We'll dive into that in another video, but I just thought I'd mention that quite quickly. It looks like an increased retail price, which is not good. Not good. But anyway, to sum it up, clean colorway, clean use of materials, easy to wear, your standard price, releasing on January 18th. I'm going to assume Foot Locker, I'm going to assume Eastbay. It's said that it is also releasing on BSTN, so there's that as well. I want to know your thoughts and opinions, guys. How do you feel about this black satin colorway? As I said, it's very easy to wear. You don't have to go too crazy to wear it. What laces are you going to lace it with? Because I'm not feeling the red. The red is a little bit too adventurous for me. The only time I've laced Jordans with red laces was actually on the breads here. I laced them with red laces. I think that was I think my decision to do that was because I saw Michael Jordan do it, or I saw a photo of him in the famous dunk contest where he wears the gold chain, and I think he had red laces. I think that was my inspiration, but as you can see, I've switched back to the black laces. I think it just looks a lot nicer, and I think I'd do the same with this release. If I was to pick up this, I think I'd go with black laces or white laces, but let me know how you feel about it. Yeah, clean colorway. Shout at me on Twitter, Instagram, anywhere if you want to personally let me know on your opinions, but if you want to make it nice and easy, just let me know in that comment section below. And that's it. I didn't think I had so much to say about just essentially a very basic colorway of the Air Jordan 1, but I guess there was more to be said than I actually anticipated. I had like a brief idea, or like I'd written down like a brief idea of what I wanted to say, but it turns out I had a lot more to say than that. Either way, to sum it all up, finally, one more time, clean colorway, easy to wear, not really a adventurous take on the Air Jordan 1, very safe for 2020, but that's alright, it doesn't always have to be adventurous. I just want to see Jordan Brand get a little bit adventurous, you know? As always, let me know how you feel in that comment section below, guys. Are you going to be picking this up when it drops January 18th, or are you not feeling the the black satins? Is satin not your thing? Would you have liked it if it was full leather, or the opposite? Would you have liked it if there were more satin on it? Let me know. Let me know how you feel about it in that comment section below. If you want me to cover more Air Jordan 1s like this, definitely like the video. Comment down below that you want me to cover it. If there's anything that you would actually like me to cover or go over, comment section below, guys. Let me know what you're interested in and let me know what you want me to cover. I'll definitely do it. I'm not opposed to fan suggestions, so definitely do it. Definitely let me know in the comment section below. If you can't be bothered writing in the comment section below, shout at me on Twitter, shout at me on Instagram, shout at me on Facebook. All the links for that, description section below if you are interested. That is it though. That is all the details we have to do with the Air Jordan 1 High OG black satins. So until the next sneaker release, guys, until the next streetwear release, I'll catch you later.